So, oops. Hi everyone, thank you for joining me today. It's a very special day because we're going to talk about a very special topic today. All right, so it is starting. I was really preparing what we're going to talk about today. So, um, today's topic is how do you know if you're a victim of negative influences, negative forces, so-called black magic. All right, so this is a very it's unpopular actually topic because it's part of many lives that are affected. Now, how how do we recognize it, right? So that is one of the most important things that we should ask ourselves, right? It's basically, how do we know it, right? First, what you can detect when you feel like you're a victim of it, and I'm talking about this from total, like a victim standpoint, like how we recognize the symptoms. How do we know that this is something that is bothering us? And it's actually, um, I will say the first sign would be that there's this intense back luck that it follows us, in a sense, like it's just like continuous bad luck, like, you know, for example, you go through breakup, in a few days you get fired, in a few days, I don't know, you have an argument with family member, in then 3 days again, or few days, or some short amount of time, you have an accident, like stuff like that, like too much happening, right? Too much of negative happening. Okay, so that's like the number one um sign that things are off, where like it's just too much at once happening negative, right? Secondly, when you feel almost like something negative is influencing you, it's a feeling that you may possess. It is very likely undescribable, but I will say that it's definitely a sign of it. Okay, so that's the also this the second fact, like, or symptom. Now, the third would be if you're finding around your home, your house, some unusual objects, or some abuse. It can be objects, but it can be also things that are misplaced, or they're not in their natural way. For example, so a very big sign is um, front door is a big element where things are put on. So people who are spell casters, negative casters, um, there's some places in home which they try to touch in order to touch you. Now I'll touch first where you can seek for some symptoms, and one of them are basically front door, if they have some kind of like a knife cuts from the frame, for example, like cuts, short cuts, just weird cuts, shouldn't be there. This is usually when they are trying to inflict the negative energy on the whole home, right? So the home is blocked, you're blocked, whoever enters this home, and so on. That's like the first sign in the house or the home. Then also you have a rug in the front of the home. Like, is it a rug or how is it called? The one when you enter the someone's home, you kind of clean your shoes. So usually under this rug is also, it's called kind of like a dust. It's like a dusty, like it's a concentrated dust, or like it's just a natural, like everything is clean, and then down under the rug you have like this big dust that out of nowhere, and you clean it. This dust can be also sometimes used as something that you step on, and with that you activate negative energy. Also, we have one sort of symptoms from black magic that you have it if you step on a special enchanted with negative energy, a piece of paper, like it can be really like dirty, just a piece of paper that's also put under the rug or under the rugs in homes, right? um it's called nagas. This specific one is called nagas. And hi Heaven, did you receive my message? Hello dear. All right. All right, is it fine? Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't see it. I guess it really came when I logged off. It can happen. Well, it doesn't matter. I would see it. It's good that you messaged me. So, I was talking right now about symptoms of the negative energies. So, we are going like a little bit tiny papers that have written probably symbols, and they're under the rugs that you can step on. With that, you activate the negative energy. So, you need to watch out for this ones. Another are, I will say, they're a little bit more subtle. You cannot see it. In your home plants, in the dirt, people can place some kind of enchanted objects. It can be from a little bit more of disgusting types, like maybe parts of that animals, or it can be some kind of like an object that is like with hair and so on. um this is what you can find, for example. Then we have so let me just, who is just logging in, we are talking about the symptoms if you feel like you are under the influence negative energies. What symptoms do you have? I talked that earlier, and now I'm talking about the objects or something material you can find that can signal that you are under spell, under black magic, or other stuff like that. Okay, so so everybody who's listening, be alerted of these things. Then we have a very specific one. um this one is a little bit different. It's usually sawed into either your clothes, it can be into your pillows, beddings. It's just like a tiny little string that can be also wrapped with a long hairs, okay, human hairs, and like a string, and it's like kind of a saw, and where it's sawed in. Now, let me remind you, whoever does this type of magic, he needs to enter your home, okay? So it's usually somebody okay? So they are sewn into the bed sheets, sewn into your um clothes. They can be just like into this, like a little bit. So if you see some kind of a weird, like just doesn't match, that's a sign. Okay, so that's like one of the, this is like the third one. The fourth one, this is a little bit more, I will say, outside of the house, because a lot of people may try to put a negative spell on us, but they cannot enter our home. And it's usually they need to go and try to project that on our home from the outside. So they can bury in the backyard. They can bury some different, either, like kind of like items with paper, like it's written, enchanted, and then they buried in their garden. Another one is, this is a little bit, disclaimer, can be a little bit disgusting, but there is, they can um, s- spray like with their hands, either animal blood or it's called water of the dead. And this is very powerful. So they just basically like put drips on the facade, right? So usually they use the water because it's invisible, because blood is, it can be seen, right? But if they do that, usually you can find it out. They use blood because it's stronger. What else you can find in order to be alerted that things are this way? Well, these are more disgusting ones. They're outside the house. But I do know that people have been telling me about finding just like that snake, that snake head, chicken head buried, stuff like that. Also, one very major sign, which is a very, very, very strong sign. It specifically comes from more this European type of casters, spellcasters, is shells of eggs. If you come and if you see all of a sudden some kind of eggshell scattered around your background, that's also alarming. Now, I will say this is something that can be even hidden. Maybe you need to really search it for. It's not going to be out in the open, but these are all the signs. Another one that it can be inside and outside of house is a nail, but usually a very nasty, rusty old nail. And when they're casting the bad spell, they are usually like casting it and shutting it. It can be on the door, again, front door, or any kind of window or anything like that. Or it can be, I don't know, maybe you have some kind of like a garage. Everywhere they can be put is basically, they try to put it somewhere that you won't see it or won't notice it, so kind of put it naturally. Then so this is like sixth or seventh symptom. um yeah. Now there are then things that can be put in your food or what, or drinks, right? Now these drinks usually are not, I will say, the only like Romanian magic. They can have it a little bit toxic. They're known for that, but these are just some practices that are really, really, they're rare. um so Romanian, or I will say East European, um witches, to enchant somebody, they used, usually they put like someone like a herb potion, and you put it for somebody to drink. This is when things can get crazy, right? So you should always be careful, what you're drinking, and if something is off, you should not. But this is almost like impossible to detect it. But I will say, like very strong one for the males that the females does is there's also this too. So this is like 8 or 9. First one is drops on menstrual blood, usually dropped in the cup of coffee, some kind of a drink that can kind of mask the color. This is used sometimes to that some men fall in love with you. Yeah, it's your menstrual blood. This is like a very ancient negative energy spell to make you crazy about somebody that you don't, really love, but this person wants. And there's also another one, which there's a special magical energy around newborn kittens. And when you bathe them in that water that you bathe them, and there must be blinds there, because first 14 days kittens are blind. They usually need to they usually need to be they usually bathe it for the first time. And this water is magical. It And if you kind of drink it or consume it, or it can be only a drop of it, you become blind for other people, and you only love the one who gives you the spell. So these are like spells that people do. This can be used on women or female. um what are else? So the sign would be for this type of magic is that you really, really, very, very just want to be with one person, and you don't see nobody else. And I'm not saying like in romantic way, like you are just like you want to be isolated and just with one person. That would be a sign that things are off. Okay, so yeah, I will say these are kind of like top 10. I may add also one more that it's a little bit more. um it's basically, mm, it can be put under the picture in the home, under the some kind of like TV or computer, and it's just like a symbol, some kind of like it's not a talisman, it's like more like a sigil, but it's activation of the negative energies, and it's a curse, it's a spell. Yeah, so this would be like top 10 symbols that you can kind of symptoms that you will find, physical and the way you feel. And these are quite powerful ones, and they do make you miserable, caught, you're under influence of the forces, and you basically your heart is elsewhere, or you have bad luck and so on. And it can be devastating. There are some other types also. There are curses, there are hexes, mm, done in different ways. Now, why am I talking about these symptoms today? Because there are people who are victim of it, and I can help you with this. I can do a cleanse, healing, removal, and protection if you feel like you are having issues with that. And I usually use my special crystals and my knowledge to break it off, to help you not to be victim of that. So if you need my help, you can always message me, click on the profile if I'm not online. um you know just follow the information on the profile, and yeah, ask me. I can check if you have this kind of issues, and I'll help you, because I know that this is very, very hard thing to have, and you don't want to have it. Basically, it's just the way it is. Yeah. um, a second. Okay. Dobra. Yeah. um what else? Mhm. Yeah, so negative energies in general that we are maneuvering, and people don't know about them. There are kind of like the two main categories is white and black, right? The black is the one when you do harm, the white is when you do good. Okay, so any kind of healing, cleansing, that this is what we do here, is part of white one. There's also a gray one, which is kind of like doing good for somebody, but it can reflect on the bad too. This is in some unique cases done. Um, but usually these two categories are the ones, right? So, by that being said, um, you really need to know that you should not let this just be. If you feel very confident that you have issues like that, you should urgently, immediately go to me or to anybody who can help you with that and get to deal with that, because it's very hard to live in happiness under this, and it can bring you many, many difficulties, problems. For example, your breakup can be caused by this. Maybe two people are separated because the third person has done something and, get involved. And what it is here, you really need to know that you need to be strong about it, and it's something that you can deal with. And once the energy is cleared and once you are in the right place, when you're cleansed from it, when you go through this healing which fills you up with the right energy in order for you to get back on the track, and also then afterwards you're protected, um, then you can basically naturally be happy with, in love, in life, and in other fields. Without it, it's always going to be struggle. It's not going to go away. It's not going to go away. It's going to piling up, getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So you need to act if you know that you have this problem. And why is this happening to you? People ask me, why do people do this? There are different things and reasons, and it's also individual why people do this bad stuff, but it usually can is either the reasons, like the main few reasons are jealousy, insecurities, greed, um, unhappiness, mental issues, stuff like that are the reasons why people do that to another person. And the thing is, what you should also know, that whoever is playing with this very dangerous energies, they don't know that this is a reflection, a mirror. If you cast negative to someone, it will return to you. So whatever you're doing, it's going to come back to you like a boomerang. So it's a bad idea to always do that. If you need to do that, you need to be prepared for the consequences. And I've seen this used many, many times, for getting somebody's partner, wife, husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, getting to fall in love with somebody that, it's not in love, or your crush, um, then, or to notice you, then also to get to position at some higher ranks in job that you wish, or get easy money by using these forces or energies. It can always bring you this initial happiness, but will definitely, there will be a payday. You cannot just have all this without, because this is why we don't want the universe. Universe is, and these energies, they work with many, many different it's harmonies, is, it's yin yang, it's you know it's the elements of what you give is what you get. And if you give negative, you're gonna receive negative in the end, even though if you just for a second got some positive. And it's definitely not worth it. It's always best to use natural energies or the destiny, that what is meant for you is meant for you. um, and it's absolutely very strong to know that unfortunately many people, and even more and more and more, it's like an expansion, like a virus, when people are using this. um, Arnie sent 10 credits if you like a love question. So it's very much intense in that way. And you know, you should absolutely be aware of all those signs. I usually recommend that we do a spell or black magic test. This is one of my services that I do, and it's very important to do it. And it's important to do it regularly, like check upon your spiritual well-being. You know, if you are surrounded, you know, it could, oh, this test is very important because it can detect if there's any entities around you. It's not just mainly about this, it's like the energies around you. Then it's detecting if you have negative influences on you, any kind, hex, a jinx, a curse, magic, spell, whatever it is. And also what type it is, how strong it is, where is it coming from, who done that to you. So this is all what I can help you with if you like. The test is usually done to first see what's happening with you, and then I usually offer a, you know, a very special removal, cleanse, protection ceremony. It's a little bit pricey, but it's absolutely worth it, because without it you're gonna just swim in this darkness until the end of time, and it's not going to be a happiness. So who is interested, link me below, and or message me, and I'll do that for you. Okay, now this is kind of like what is this? Uh-huh. Okay, intermezzo. We need to do one reading now, but that would be kind of like my intro on about, you know, being under black magic, I guess. Okay. So. Oh, no. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes, so also wanted to mention, if you like me to help you, you have a link in chat or link in the description of the video or my profile, where you have a link towards reading my website, leilakristal.com. I would be happy to help you with. Okay. And You have a, different type of offers. There's my services from love readings, money readings, energy readings, past life, different type of tools from crystal ball to oracles, tarot, crystal ball, all kinds of different ones, palm readings, all the main ones. And also there's an offer for removals if you, and also spell tests and black magic tests. Yeah. So you have it all in. I would urge you to, highly recommend you to do that, if you are, and also do it like regular, just to be safe. All right. Okay. Let's go and have a reading now. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, Grace, do my guides offer any advice on what intentions are January? Hello, Grace. Nice to talk to you today. Welcome to your reading and welcome back. So you mentioned that you have this issue with your aunt, as I understand, your aunt Amy, and you also mentioned that you have a really, really very intense and traumatizing family dynamic, and you want to know basically about your aunt and guides. All right, you want to know what to do. Okay, understand. I'm sorry to hear about all these issues. So we're gonna open oracles today for you, and let's see what's happening here. Shatakit teacher is the first. Then we have living gold technique manifestation. Then we have Morganite relationship healing. The next cards are connection soul, soul connection with the lovers, stability conflict, and we have clear quartz purification. And one more card here is past life, lapis lazuli. All right, so the energy does show there are these bluish stones that indicate a lot of levels of intense disbalances, bad communication, bad characters in general. And I do see how much are you going through this hardship. There's been major conflicts through time. And it's really best that you have kind of like withdrawn and find your own peace. Now regarding Aunt Amy, do my guides offer any advice on her intentions, or should I genuinely be worried? Um, I will say that they don't, they say that your aunt is not a bad person. It has her difficulties and it has her moods, the energy shows. So she is not always handling her emotions correctly. I do sense that her emotions sometimes can be a major overreaction. And, then I do sense that there are elements of regret later, but sometimes she almost like she freaks out or just imagines things that are not there, and it's because she's not feeling well. But I do sense her intentions are not evil in a sense that she's doing that on purpose. Here is the purifying card, so this is what it means. So I will say you should not take everything that she says too serious, and the guides are saying not to be too worried, but be cautious when she has this mood outburst, I will say, or mood ideas. Should I keep my boundaries in place but keep her in my life? She should be trusted. You should keep boundaries, absolutely, and you should try to heal on the relationship. So yes, you should keep her in your life. She is, you know, connected to you. She is worth of working your connection with, but it's not going to be an easy one. And try not to have like have a boundary with her, of course, but not too big, but not too close. I think that would be the best way to say it, because she's not always emotionally ready to understand, and it's not intentional, it's just like part of her bad experiences. This is what I pick up. Thank you very much for reaching out. Let's follow up really soon. Have a good day. Bye bye. Okay. Hello, Miss Karen. Nice talking to you today. Welcome to your reading. And I see your inquiries regarding person from the past didn't come back. You want to know what do I pick up on that? So first, I usually need birthdays and a little bit more of summary to connect name and birthday, and also about the last activity. So in the next reading, please do write that down too. But I will open cards to see what can I pick up on this situation. So we have Pyromorphic Patience. So 3 cards for you first. Sunstone Empowerment, Rose and Quartz Inner Child, and on this other person's side, Herkimer Diamond Dreams, your past heart healing, and fluid learning. And one more card is called City Relaxation. Okay, so this is interesting energies here. I see quite a strong love bond, and I do sense there's been very hard to be apart on both sides. I do sense that this was genuine love, true love, true intentions from both hearts on his side. And I do sense that absolutely right now, this person is going through a very big stress, and it's hurting. It's not feeling him, self. It's very, very withdrawn and doesn't know how to basically find a way of happiness. It's almost like running away from emotions. And this person, although does have love for you, it's not ready to reconcile at this very moment because it's just very hard to deal with all the emotions. Needs to reflect on the past, and it's right now just very very eh, like avoiding the emotional part of the life, and because it's too hard right now. But I do sense as time goes there is this energy of reconciliation. All right. And because you two will naturally gravitate to each other back, because the love is going to come to the surface on this person's side. One day, we'll start really thinking and really realizing that it was a wrong path that needed to be um, the path that this person is walking to was the wrong one, and it's not happy, and realize that maybe the things that used to be part of the breakup were seeing it differently, and this will be a learning curve. And I see the energy of communication from this person, and will want to catch up, and things will smoothly align back to relationships. So I see this person coming back in some time, but it's still in process. It's not an easy path, and it's going to take again some time. Okay, Miss Karen, this is what I pick up. Thank you very much. Let's follow up really soon whenever you have questions and dilemmas. Take care until next time. Bye bye. Hi Roseanne, read the comment please. Do you see my comment? All right, so one question is 500 coins. Three question is 1,000 coins. And if you want to talk in private for 10 minutes, 4K gift. Yeah. Since you want to know about Verena and Eileen. Yeah. Morna copas. Morna copas. I'm thinking of you in my sweetless solitude tonight. If it's wrong to love you. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. All right. Let me. Ra-ra-ra-ta-ta. Okay. Okay. So, what else would we want to talk about? A little bit more about black magic. Okay. So, what is the main difference between black magic, black spell, black hex, black jinx, black curse? And also, I forgot one more to mention is sihir. That's Islamic type of black magics. So the main thing is a spell is usually casted by some ritual act involving some sort of ingredients, from potions to um, maybe parts of your either clothing, part of your hair, could be also part of your nails, something that you leave behind, um, and also some other ingredients. But then we also have um, hexes. Hexes are and jinx are similar because they are more used with so-called black, no black, just magic formula, which is magic formula is sometimes is are ingredients, but sometimes is the magic words that you need to say up loud to cast a curse, cast a hex, cast a jinx. So it's like more of a dynamics how to do it. Sihirs are usually drawn on the paper, uh, and they're like different like squares or different type of like writings. But this is also something that it can be put around you in order to be things happen to you. um, then we have courses. Courses are something that can be also casted on your bloodline, on you. There's something that's just like almost like I would call it unwashable, right? Until you wash it with the right energy, by removers and cleansings, right? So curses are really difficult because usually you can touch an object that is cursed, for example, like a paper or a rock or a cursed, item. Um, Curses are also done by the bloodline and usually in some form is used with energy of the dead. Energy of the dead is a difficult one because they need to have, for example, similar as they were like little kittens, blind kittens, water used. They also the water of the dead. So if you bathe uh, a dead person in water, it become dead water. Also, that person's hair and nails and objects like clock, like rings, you know they are all possessed with a specific magic formula. They can possess this very unique powers that can be then made curses on, right? So it's not an easy thing, and it's actually the people who are working on that. They're quite, I don't know, they just need, I think people who are like black spellcasters, like black witches, they really have, this greed in them. But and they think they're going to be protected because they're maybe using some techniques, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You should never do harm universe will always return it to you in some shape or form, or on your bloodline. Bloodline, what means? It means that you can have a curse that was casted on your grandma, great grandgrandma. Um, a lot of time is more on females than males, but it can be also on males. For example, I encountered many bloodline curses. They were like from 100 years old, and it affects um grandchildren, great children. They have bad luck, they have bad luck in love, they cannot find balance. So it's really important to know if you maybe have this and you're innocent, this shouldn't be happening to you, right? And how this can even happen. So like I mentioned before, the reasons for people doing this is usually they're jealous, greedy, mentally unstable, or angry, all this negative emotions. They're not able to vengeful. They're in von vedetta, and sometimes this is why I always say, be careful who you are dating, be careful who you are hurting. You know, there are a lot of people who may be thinking like, well, you know, I don't love this person, and you just kind of like ghosted, or it's just inappropriate, that you let somebody catch feelings and then you just erase them, knowing all the time that you're not going to be around. And this leaves broken hearts, and broken hearts can be very vengeful, right? So it's very important that even if we are, and I'm talking about people who are deceitful, because falling in love with somebody, it's not that easy. It's not happen like just because you look at somebody has taken time and effort for you to fall in love with them, they spend time with you, possibly tell you lies and so on. So, you know, people can be very angry at that. This is just one of the examples, what can happen, why people maybe do this. And then because of that, people definitely are growing stronger in, and they're using all kinds of tools to release their anger because they feel so lost, and partially some people use this, um all kinds of just messing up with energies that they shouldn't, in order to you know have an power over something that they don't, right? So you know um what can I say? Better than vengeance, you should use your energy of to heal your broken heart, or let the universe deal with the person who was doing that instead of like throwing back magic. um it's just because it is not the right way to release the negativity. It's just like a circle, it's going to come back to you, and then you're going to have even more damage just because of this person. So always say, be smart, make wise choices. You know, don't do things that you don't want other things people do to you. Um, you know, try not to hurt people. Um, some people, they're just too selfish to see that, but some people are just feeling lost. In any ways, these are playing with dark energies is a very difficult thing. You should not do it. You should deal with it. If it's affecting you, you should check upon it, test it often. If you are maybe um, a part of it, and maybe affected, maybe you're a victim of it. And also, what I want to say, like the bloodline curses, yeah, that's what I forgot to mention. So, for example, a man breaks up with a woman who loves him. So, this is what I saw, like a grandma curse that was on the bloodline and then passed. So, a man, broken heart, uh, broke up with this girl and broken hearted her, promised her like love, wife, family, and then just one day he just, oh, sorry, I don't do that, ghosted and go to the next one. And then this girl, which is now grandma, um, was so upset and brokenhearted and just couldn't cope with the pain, and became very angry. Part of healing is being angry, and then she casted the spell on him, finding this new wife and not choosing her but deceiving her. And she used this horrible bloodline curse that she usually used some kind of a witcher or sihirbaz, which is in Muslim world. And it cursed him and his bloodline, so that means his offsprings. Now, how this works sometimes that it doesn't affect him, but it can affect any part of his offspring, grandchildren, sons, daughters, and not everyone, maybe just a particular one. And this is how you figure out that maybe you have this one, right? So it's an intense journey. And this is how some people find out that they have mm, bloodline curse. So this is a very dangerous type of curses. You should I can help you with that. If you have that, it needs time and effort and a lot of patience to deal with, but it's solvable. You should not let this be on your bloodline, because it's not going to bring any happiness, and it's going to block all the potential, all the love, all the money, all the luck, all the happiness that you need, and your house. Also, there's one more. Some people, they want to make somebody come back, and they put like invisible cords. And when this happen, you are basically corded by this invisible, and you're drawn to somebody unnaturally. Also, uh, this is usually when the cords needs to be cut up with either crystal knives. This is also something I do, or crystals in generals, to cutting cords. And then also there's also when your love is being locked. This is, some people use it as a love lock, but you can also lock somebody without them knowledge. It's also part of like a darker magic, when you lock somebody and this person cannot get cut off from you. So that is in one of those intense type of magics that are just like popular. I will say, I'm talking about like the most common practices they're done um, by the territories where this different type of knowledges or practices of black magics come are from very different parts of world. You all people know, voodoo, African magic. That's like, you know, voodoo dolls. That's one part. It's also highly used, particularly in black communities, but also wider, because it's can be very, very like crippling and blocking. But if I go in the west, like in the more eastern part, or maybe Europe, we have this energies of dead energies, dirt energies, so dead animals, dead objects, objects from dead people, then special potions, waters. We could call it like Valachian magic. We could call it also I'm not gonna say it's like Nordic magic, but maybe more like a Viking type of magic, Nordic runic magic. Yeah. Um, then we have I mean, I will call like Asian, particular Chinese and Japanese. You have a culture there of omamori. Omamoris are this very special, like a very beautiful little bags with that are kind of like a talismans, and the basic difference between talisman and amulets, these are the two things that I think it's important to distinguish. Talismans are used to attract something, right? They, you know, I think there's a lot of misinformation around, but the primary goal for talismans is to attract love, to attract a person. So that is a talisman. But then you have amulets. Amulets are used usually to attract, but primarily to protect. So has a different function. So amulets are usually, you know, when you have like Indian like rabbit paw that attract luck. Then you have horseshoe. That's like no, that's talisman. Sorry, um, rabbit. Sorry, rabbit foot. Rabbit foot are actually for protect yourself from danger. Um, and also amulets are majority can be various things, but they're usually some kind of ancient symbols. Um, you have Egyptian magic, of course. Eye of Horus. You have very, very ancient, one of the most ancient ones for female and female energies are Hamsa hand. And of course, I think this is the one who's very, very popular in today's world is Evil Eye. So I know a lot of people, that's like a pure ancient amulet, right? And it comes from basically being protected of somebody not to look at you at the curse with cursed eyes. So this is brought to people who maybe feel like, oh, you can look at me and you can curse me, right? Like a really evil look. And this is why people wear evil eye, this like blue talisman. That's one of like sorry, not blue talisman, blue amulet. Like blue eye amulet is one of the most popular amulets, so protective objects of negative energies. um yeah, so then you have a lot of